Hello, kia ora, and welcome to another episode of the Extremely Casual Gamers podcast with Ellie, Chris, and Guy. This is a casual gaming podcast for the everyday gamer, and on today's show, guys, I want to talk about crypto.
God.
No, I don't really want to talk about crypto, but I do want to talk about a new type of gaming, which is a little bit predatory, potentially.
Predatory?
Okay.
Yeah, predatory, in fact. And Guy, what are you chatting about today?
I'm talking about the Nemesis System. It is a AI gaming system that was developed like 10 years ago. It's been used in 2 video games and hasn't been used since. And if it were to be used by other developers, man, we'd be playing some awesome games. So I want to talk about that.
Awesome. And Chris, you've got some listener feedback, so should we just jump straight into it, mate?
Okay, let's do it. Here's listener feedback. Is that how we started?
That's beautiful,
Okay,
bro.
cool. And
That's
will you have put the little sound effect
Yep,
in?
the sound effect would have already played there. Yeah,
Okay,
nice.
cool. So listener feedback this week is interesting because 2 people went above and beyond in the Extremely Casual group for Extremely Casual Gamers on Facebook.
Lovely.
Please join if you're listening, by the way. It's great. The first person who went above and beyond was named Sam Morgan. Sam Morgan, otherwise known as Ellie's other half, her partner.
Very solid relationship. Just going to jump in there first and
Her
say that.
not husband.
Her not husband. Guy, don't put pressure on Sam. Like, you
I'm
should,
just saying.
surely you went through the phase of people pressuring you to get engaged. I had that. And it's just the most punishing thing. And I have
Yeah.
vowed to
Little bit.
never do that to anyone else.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Well, that's because you rushed into yours.
I only dated my wife for like 6 years.
So, no, but you guys were, because you had to, don't worry about it.
You're
I
gonna
was
make
going to
it-
make a
you're
joke
gonna make a
about
joke?
religion and stuff. I was like, I couldn't be bothered. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
worth
yeah.
it.
It was there.
Fair
It's not
enough.
worth it. So Sam Morgan, who is your partner, and you guys are in a safe, secure relationship.
Oh, totally. Yeah. That sounded really like it wasn't true.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
I love about Ellie is you can just say something, point at her, and then she'll just make it way worse for herself.
Yeah.
Just by continuing to talk.
I know.
That's true.
But yes, no, great relationship. Very much in love. Why does it
No,
not
no,
sound
just say great relationship, and then we said very much in love. It's like, now I'm downing it.
Or you can just say, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Well, why are you being so defensive?
Elaborate more, please.
Okay, look, they're not going to be together for very long. But
Oh, okay.
Sam Morgan made a fantastic video. He's recently gone to Pokemon cards, and we're making fun of the fact that all the cards that you brought in to show us were really bad,
Yes.
we assume.
Yes.
He made a great little video. Please go check it out of him looking at his cards, and then it flips around, and he's just holding energy cards, which are just... I remember those from, I think, primary school. I first got my first deck of Pokemon cards, and so many of them were energy, and trying to, like, swap energy cards to people.
And like trainer cards as well.
Yeah,
You're
trainer
like, I don't
cards.
know what this does.
They're at least a little bit better, but it's just garbage. So the fact that he's got all of those, and the fact that you told us he's spent $17,000 on them in the last month.
Nah. Yeah, no, 17K was what it was. Nah, it
Far
wasn't,
out.
but a couple of K I think he's spent. He's kept that a bit too tight to the
Oh,
chest
God,
there.
here
But,
we go.
Maybe he's hoping they'll improve in value, sell them, and buy you an engagement ring.
oh, that'll be it. Yeah, that's it.
So if his game plan is to wait for energy cards to be worth money to get you an engagement ring, you are not going to get married.
So I'll be in the grave before that.
100%.
Okay, cool.
Because they are worthless. So big shout out to Sam. Now, the second person I'm going to be shouting out today made a video.
Yes.
Sean Vandermeer.
Nice.
Nice, bro.
Otherwise known as Sean Vandermeer,
Yeah.
as we've been known to pronounce. And I like to say we need to get better at taking time to learn how to say someone's name.
Yeah, I
So if
agree.
we say it wrong, let us know.
Yeah, please do.
So that in the future we can say it correctly.
Yeah.
You can
Um,
send us an audio message on Instagram,
Yes.
Extremely Casual Gamers Podcast, of how to pronounce your name if we pronounce it incorrectly.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's great. But officially, we said it correctly. Sean Vandermeer, which is great. He made an awesome video of him basically doing like a gaming news type situation. He had a full background. It was like a news bulletin. At the bottom were a whole lot of little things scrolling across like
Oh my
you see
God.
on a news channel. It is
So
brilliant. Please go have a look at it. And what I've decided to do is just cherry pick a few of the things he had in that bottom segment.
I think it's called like a ticker tape. or
That's the
something
one,
like
ticker
that.
tape going
Oh,
across
yeah.
the bottom, and we're just going to address some of them, all right?
Okay,
'Cause
yeah.
he's just made these up.
Love it.
First one, should Farming Simulator be considered therapy? Guy asks. That's what went along the bottom.
Oh.
Genuine. It was great for me. It was. I was playing a lot of Farming Simulator at sort of just after my peak of having like anxiety breakdowns and shit. So being a pretend farmer actually helped.
Bit of escapism. There you go. Ellie wins Astrobot contest, celebrates with coffee.
Yeah.
Do you like coffee, Ellie?
I do like coffee.
I've never seen you drink a coffee.
But yeah, I usually drink it in the morning, so not when we're recording. But yeah, I mean, I do like coffee. I wouldn't say it's my favorite drink.
Do you,
but
does anything that you might have said in this podcast in the past you sort of spring to mind as to why he would have said you celebrated with coffee.
Maybe does he realize? Is it because I'm in breakfast radio hours and he knows that? Maybe.
Maybe.
Is that the
Let's give him the
reference?
Benny.
The most shocking thing about that headline is that Ellie wins.
Astrobot,
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't
100%.
question that for 1 second.
Yeah.
I thought
Ellie?
I'd be quite good at that.
Did you come with us to PlayStation headquarters to play the new Astrobot?
I did.
Did you complete the speedrun level?
No.
it was a really hard
was
level.
hard,
It was really
eh?
hard. So hard. Okay, next one. Newsflash. Guy wants Elden Ring DLC to include Hobbit mode.
That would
Oh.
be. It would. I would. No, I still wouldn't play it.
It would. I would.
No, I
that
wouldn't play it. I would watch some TikToks of gameplay
if it was
Okay.
Hobbit related.
if it was Hobbit related.
Oh yeah.
Because he's a big Hobbit boy.
Yeah. No,
Love me
we've
some
heard.
Hobbit.
Yep.
I do not want the Elden Ring DLC to include Hobbit mode.
No, fair enough.
Just FYI.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it's perfect as is. Last two were about me. First of all, breaking news. Chris insists all RPGs are life practice.
Oh yeah.
I'd
That's-
agree.
You have
that
talked
is
about
something
that in
you'd say,
previous
yeah.
episodes.
That's
yeah.
right. So, like, you put in situations, there's no right or wrong. You've got to make a decision and you've got to really live with the consequences. That's
Yeah.
life.
If I had $1 for every single time I saw a horse on top of a herbalist hut,
That is a throwback.
I'd have $4.
That is a throwback for
Wow.
like 40 episodes ago.
Do you know?
Yeah,
on
it is, eh?
do you know on Temu? I was looking at getting presents for you guys.
Oh,
for
how
Christmas.
generous of you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I looked. I
Please.
just put in The Witcher 3
Oh yeah.
for Chris, and
Yeah.
the thing that came up first was a poster of of Geralt looking up with his
At
hands on his
Roach,
hips.
with the horse
At
on the
Roach
roof.
With the horse on the
Oh,
roof. Yeah, it
funny.
came in like a poster.
That's
Oh.
right. Because
And I
it's
just
a
didn't buy it,
common.
didn't buy it. It was
It's
too expensive, like $4.
Don't waste $4 on me. It's fine. Yeah, because that's like a classic photo that someone's painted up and
Yeah, it
mocked
looks
up.
like a paint, like
Yeah.
a painted. Yeah, it looks
It's
like
very
art.
cool.
Funny.
And the reason being, go back and listen to the early episodes. But when you call your horse, sometimes it'll just appear on top of a hut or in the randomest places, and you can't get on it.
Yeah.
So that turned it into a thing. And the final one is Chris debates whether pets can level up like game characters,
Ooh.
which is actually
Ah.
quite a good chat. You guys have pets. I do
Yes.
not. Do you think your pets have at any stage leveled up?
Yes.
So like, obviously going from a kitten, when
Yeah.
you first get them, you house train them. That's certainly leveling up, isn't it?
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
where would they have gone up a level?
Learning to use a litter tray,
Okay.
I'd say.
So that's they're at level 2.
Yep. I would say that another thing that leveled up is they know some of my commands. So I'll be like, "Are you hungry?" And then they come to me and "Meow." So learning my language would be
Yeah.
another
I'd say
level up.
that's like level. How many commands have you got?
There's 3 that they understand.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
I reckon 3 levels because learning those individually is very important. Like
Thank you.
crazy. So it's level
Yeah.
4, 5.
I'd say so. Yeah. My sister, she's taught her cat tricks, so I reckon she's on like level 10 already.
Wow. So in
Yeah.
a fight,
Mm.
her cat would beat yours because they're a higher level.
Yes, and that obey their owner more, I think.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know what I mean? Like Paige could command her and
Yeah.
then she'd listen, whereas my cat's a bit rogue, I reckon.
What's your cat's names again?
Tony and Tui.
Tony and Tui.
Yeah.
What about
yeah.
you, Guy?
I feel like my cat Plum and my dog Nala, I feel like they're at a stage where they were leveling up due to progression in the game, but then I think they also focused way too much on side quests, got heaps of XP, and they've reached max level ages ago, and now they're just plateauing because
Ah.
I hate that.
they haven't really done anything different in the last like 4 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
right.
know, like from kit. Well, we got Plum when she was a rescue. She was like 7 when we got her, so she
Yeah.
was already max level.
Yeah.
But Nala, yeah, she all the things that puppies do. Learn to not mess with the cat. Gets
Yeah.
whacked on the nose.
Yeah, that's
And
going
now,
up a level.
and
Don't
now
eat- don't
now
eat
she
a
just
bee.
chills. Don't eat bees. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Your
yeah.
face will swell up.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
My dog
Oh.
learned that lesson. Your dog though has had a couple of like failed attempts at beating bosses.
Yeah,
Oh.
true. She's had a few boss encounters and she's come off bad. She's also had a couple of boss encounters in the last 12 months with cancer. So she's definitely got her surgery XP.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
gone up because
Yeah.
she's had about 4 surgeries in the last 12 months.
Well, Nala's clearly about level 15 at least. Then.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd
So,
say so.
yeah, she's
Bless her.
she's a boss. She's earned max level to just do nothing
Yeah.
for the rest of her life now.
Bloody
Respect.
oath. I don't have any pets.
Yeah. Is there a reason for that? Do you want pets or you don't actually want pets?
I am doing something called double income, no kids, no responsibilities.
Love it.
And
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah, love it.
massively love it.
Respect.
And guess what? That's about to stop. This isn't an announcement,
Wait,
but
are
it
you
is going to stop soon because I am in my almost mid-30s.
Yeah.
My wife is in her 30s, and at some point, you just have to completely change the whole way you live your life
Yeah.
and stop being a selfish piece of shit.
Nah, fair enough.
It
yeah.
is, yeah. From someone who's got a cat, a dog, and a kid, it's very much like I do get jealous of the mindset of you guys to be like, well, when you said, "Oh, I booked flights for me and Luce to go to Cambodia for New Year's Eve," I'm like,
Yeah.
that would take me like a year to organize,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's just a thing that like we're trying to do. COVID actually ruined it, and after
Oh,
that, we
harder.
were like, because we had a few trips booked and planned,
Oh.
We had one. A few.
Oh,
Why a few? Why would
poor
we have a
thing.
few trips booked? No one books 3 trips at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's bullshit. And then after that, we were like, no, we've got to get out there and get most of it because we've lost like 3-4 years.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even with cats, they're actually pretty easy. But even if me and Sam want to go away, we still have to obviously find someone to look after them or whatever.
Or catteries, and that shit's expensive.
and I
they
never,
hate
I don't
it.
want
They
to take my
hate it.
cats to a cattery.
There are nice catteries in our area because we used to take Plum there over the Christmas break. But when you have a cat and a dog, because we would take Daisy with us on holidays or pre-Daisy, even when we had cat and dog, we'd go away see family for a week and a half, and we'd be dropping we'd be dropping between $700 to $1,000
Wow.
on kennels
See, that's
and
Oh, wow.
catteries.
Yeah.
And I know this is a gaming podcast, but that shit would book out in April for Christmas.
Whoa.
It was so stressful.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we don't have to worry about that shit.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have responsibilities and have to stop being selfish, I want all of it at once.
Yeah, fair enough.
And for now, I'd rather have just none.
Yeah, that's smart stuff. I
Yeah.
respect that, bro.
Because right now, I'm doing a video game podcast. You know, that'll have to stop.
No,
What?
we could bring a dog in. Be
I
part
was
of the
talking about
party.
having a kid, but yeah, bring your dog in. If I name my dog like a name, I don't know, what's a video game name for a dog?
Buster.
What's
No,
the name of the dog in Fallout? Dog meat.
Dog meat.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great name. If I get a German Shepherd named Dog meat, he can come on the podcast.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Don't know why it's a he, by the way, but it is. If not, I won't bring it in.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. All
Hey,
right.
that's listener feedback. Shout out to everyone else who contributed on the Facebook page and Instagram. But Sam and also Sean took the time to make just excellent videos. Please go and have a look because they made me
Yes.
laugh out loud,
Same.
which is
Yes.
great.
Also, there's a link on our Facebook group if you want to vote for us in the New Zealand
Yes.
Podcast Awards as well. That gets announced next week.
Yes, please. All right, let's jump into some gaming news.
Gaming news.
Gaming news. All right, the Game Awards happening the December 12th. What? December the
No,
12th.
that's the correct way.
Yeah, thank you. The nominations have been announced. Obviously, there's lots of different categories: best ongoing game, best performance, best mobile game. I won't list them all. But Game of the Year nominations in particular, that's the big one we want to know. The nominations this year are Astrobot.
Yep, and well deserved.
Yep. Balatro. Am I saying it?
Balatro, which
That
is the
one.
blackjack game.
Yep.
We've got Black Myth Wukong.
Yep, which is the one first AAA out of China,
Nice.
which
you got
did
some,
really well.
You got some good knowledge on the top of your head.
I
there, bro.
learned all this from the Extremely Casual Gamers podcast.
Oh, did you?
Nah, just the Black
Oh.
Myth Wukong one.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I was
I was like, did
what are
we-
we talking about? Balatro?
Nah.
We've got Elden Ring Shadow of the Urge Tree.
Shout out!
Yeah.
That had better win.
We've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Is
Oh,
that seven?
yeah.
Guy Mansell approves.
Woo! And lastly, Metaphor Refantasio.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of that one either. But those are the 6 games up for Game of the Year.
All right. Oh, sorry, just hit the mic there.
right.
Which one of those do you probably none of us have really played any of them?
Yeah, I
Apart
couldn't
from
tell you.
Astrobot.
Well, hang on. You've played half an hour of Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah,
Remember you
true.
were supposed to give that a code away, but you decided to use it for yourself and then
Yeah.
played half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which one of those in your gut do you think would win, Guy?
I think Black Myth is going to win.
It was massive. It
Okay.
was. It really peaked on Steam as the most played game at one point when
Yeah.
it first came out.
Yeah.
Ellie, what's in your gut?
Well, look, I don't know really any of the games. I thought that Astrobot was a good game in terms of the inclusivity of it. Like, I feel like it's accessible for everyone to play.
It's a return to that old school platformer in a really well done way.
It is,
And
yeah.
it's not just like, a couple hours of gameplay as well. Like I'm playing it at the moment, and it's so much fun, and there's
yeah.
so many things to do with it.
Yeah.
So it's a booty game.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
I should get my wife might be interested in playing that game actually.
Oh,
I've got
bless-
it.
Bless you for thinking that she will.
She probably will play it for like 5 minutes and go, I'm bored. What's next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Just so you guys know, Helldivers 2 is up for Best Action Game,
That's cool.
so that's cool.
People
up against
did want it to be nominated for Game of the Year, but I think the dip with the whole Sony PSP thing.
Oh, there was a bit of
and
drama
Yeah.
there was
around
a
that.
bit of drama there, so possibly no.
Yeah.
Can I just say quickly, if Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree wins, if a DLC wins Game of the Year, a downloadable extra,
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
because it's
that's
a bonus,
DLC.
it's just DLC.
But
If
it's
that
like
wins,
it's like full game size.
that's right. It's massive. If
Oh.
it wins, it is official from Software. Elden Ring, just one of the all-time greatest video games ever made.
Yeah, all right.
It's up there with Witcher 3 for me, which means a lot.
Yeah, it does, because you do wank on about that a lot,
I
don't
do,
you?
and that-
yes. Obviously, you can go and read all this online, but yeah, those are the 2024 nominees for Game of the Year. Anyone else got any gaming news?
I've got gaming news.
Woo!
Gaming news.
Video games provide several mental and emotional benefits, such as stimulating the brain. So sorry, a study's been done.
Oh, thank you for the
Who by?
context.
I just went straight into the thing. No, there's a study that's been done saying research says video games can improve mental health and well-being. So it's just a nice little thing, proof here for anybody
Good.
that says, that playing video games is a load of bullshit. Aiding in mental health recovery and building emotional resilience. However, the benefits diminish when playing more than 10 hours per week.
Oh.
Leading to potential negative effects like increased anxiety,
Have we found the sources, guys?
Oh, guy.
sleep disturbances, and antisocial behavior. You
Oh, my
fucking losers.
God. That's not antisocial. That's just annoying for Ellie to have to do.
Highlighting the importance of
We
moderation.
don't even have the timer going, so I can't say what time it was.
Can't I just scrub through that?
It was during
How
gaming news.
antisocial of me. So there you go, guys. It's good for your mental health. Just don't do any more than 10 hours, which I'm
Okay.
sure none of us do.
I definitely don't. There's no concern there for me.
I do. I
There's
definitely
people
play
that will do more
10.
than 10 hours in one day.
I would say I would average per day an hour and a half,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
That's all right, though.
I work in afternoon radio, like I have spare time.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I did. I have quite a lot on these days, but
Yeah.
I would say I probably definitely average more than 10 hours a week.
Yep.
Guys.
Yeah.
I'd say I'll be hitting probably just over that average, probably about 12 hours.
Yeah, look.
You've got a new job, Ellie. You're always tired now.
Yeah, we'll
and
go
busy.
with that. We'll go with that.
Wait, you
That's
don't not like video games anymore, do
No,
you?
I love them. I did it again. I just
sounded
sound
like-
so
Well,
sarcastic.
what's the issue
No, I
here?
do love them.
No, still.
I do love them. I swear. No, but recently because I've been I feel like I'm coming into burnout a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's the time of year.
Yeah, and I think for me, when I get home, because I'm so exhausted, all I do now is just go on my phone and scroll. Like, it's bad. I know it's bad. But I can't even bring myself to turn on the PlayStation and then get my head in the game. Like, I'm
It
going.
takes brain power to do that, man.
It does, but then it is actually fun and relaxing when you get into it. But for me, it's the task initiation that I'm failing to do. So, at the moment, very few hours for me in the gaming.
That's
And
fine.
You know what? Maybe that's why my mental health isn't great, guys. Maybe I need to be playing a few hours a week and it would fix me. Nah, probably not.
When
Yeah.
did you last stream?
It would have been on Halloween with Brit, actually. That
Oh,
was
wow.
like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I do miss streaming. I do try and do it, but I've just been so busy I haven't been able to do it.
I think you quit your job.
I reckon you're right, actually. I reckon I should just quit my job. And then everyone should subscribe to my streams and then I don't have to get any money.
Sorry, don't come onto our podcast and plug your streams, please.
Yeah, come on.
How dare you use
Ellie
this?
on the telly on Twitch.
No, do follow. Plus, Sam, with his video business and his Pokemon card business,
Yep.
you don't need to work.
Exactly.
But that does mean that you guys were planning on breaking up, clearly. But you will have to sort of
Rely
hold
on his
fire on
income,
that.
yeah.
That's the thing. That's why I'm with him. I stay with for the money.
For the money, for the cash.
For the cash.
Uh.
Any more gaming news there?
Oh, gaming news. Sorry, I've got gaming news. I completely forgot. The most successful launch in the history of Farming Simulator.
Ooh.
Hey!
Farming Simulator 2025, 2 million copies sold in week 1, peaked at 125,000 players active simultaneously on Steam.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So people love farming, but
Cool.
not actual farming.
Yeah.
They don't actually want to go out and do the damn thing
No.
because it's very expensive and hard to get into unless you're born into it, really.
Yeah.
They're working on free content updates, patches, packs, expansions. They're going to keep adding more machines, features, and fun. There is a year 1 season pass. I hate the word season pass. Makes me think got to spend real money. 3 official packs, major expansion in the coming months. All sorts of stuff coming. How does that make you feel, guys, a Farming Simulator fan?
It makes me think that I will eventually get it. If it comes out maybe on PlayStation Plus, that'd be
Isn't
awesome.
this-
Oh, yeah.
Isn't this interesting? A game that you love, Farming Simulator 2025.
Yeah.
You will wait until that is on PS Plus, but you will splash money on something you don't know anything about.
Yes.
Isn't
Empire
that-
of the Ants.
Isn't that so we're like Space Marine? Isn't that why? What? See, in my head, I'd rush out and go get the thing.
Tell you what, I
Yeah.
think it's because I haven't seen enough Farming Simulator 25 content on TikTok. and
TikTok. So
Instagram.
you're okay.
If I was to be constantly getting feeds as to,
Yeah.
and also for me as well, and I'm sure that for the hard out Farming Simulator people, to me there isn't much of a difference between what I
Yeah.
was playing
there you
and
go.
what the new one is. Like I'm sure it's better graphics and it's got more features, but for what I was playing FS22 for,
Mhm.
It's
that-
this, yeah.
it did it for me.
Yeah.
It was more just like, harvesting the crops and making money and stuff
So
like
it's
that.
the same as that,
Yeah.
but with slightly more.
Exactly. So it's slightly more. So I'm like, I don't want to drop $120 on like
Yeah, the
Yeah,
same.
something
fair
that's
enough.
slightly better.
You know
At
what you
least
should
with
do?
Space Marine and Empire of the Ants, like I hadn't played
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
What you should do is look into other simulator games.
Possibly.
Because one of the best games I got into like a few years ago, which I was doing another gaming podcast, which is kind of how this one started, was City Skylines. Skylines, which is like SimCity.
Yeah.
I was into that for 6 months.
Wow.
Building cities and shit. Simulation stuff can be so good.
Yeah.
Power Wash Simulator apparently is very
Oh
popular.
yeah, that's very
Oh,
very.
But I do
satisfying.
have an actual power washer at home, and that's more fun to do.
That's
Right.
right.
But I did download and play Lawnmower Simulator,
Oh, yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
and
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
wasn't what I was expecting it to be. It was like too nitty gritty into the.
What about like
lawnmower.
Train
Ah.
Simulator
train simulators?
Or-
There's construction simulator
or Bus?
where you're like
Ah.
you're like on a building site and you've got to like use
Yeah.
all that. That'd be awesome.
So that's the sort of stuff we could get into.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
No, it is
No,
good.
yeah, it is.
It is. It is also
fascinating.
like escapism as well. You know,
Yeah.
like, when you don't want to be in your own brain. So
Yeah.
you just pretend to be a farmer.
Yeah, no, fair enough, bro.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that
Meg
was.
comes home, you've got hay sticking out of your mouth. Howdy. Hello, little lady. Wait,
Yeah.
this is Red Dead Redemption.
All right, whenever anyone talks about NFTs or crypto, I just fall asleep because I don't understand it, honestly.
Especially NFTs.
Yeah.
Crypto, I could slightly get my head around.
Mm.
NFTs, I never got.
Nah.
Still don't.
No, I'm kind of the same. But there's this game. And
Why do I
there's-
feel like Guy has bought an NFT?
No,
Yes,
no,
you have
no.
one?
100%.
Okay.
Swear on my life, no.
Yeah, it was bollocks.
It was complete horseshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is interesting because this is kind of in that realm. Have you guys heard of the game Axie Infinity?
No.
At all? So,
No.
yeah, so basically it's a game that launched kind of around the COVID sort of time, and it's basically a game that happens on the blockchain. So it's a game that's happening in the crypto world, essentially.
Right.
And it's kind of like Pokemon in a way, but you basically buy these Axies. These are little Pokemon characters, but they're called Axies.
Little creatures.
Yeah, they fight each other, but then you actually win not real money, but you earn a certain currency. It's called Smooth Love Potion, and then that can be transferred into real money. So people are literally actually playing this game. It launched in COVID, and people in the Philippines in particular picked up on it. And early on, you could buy like a good competitive Axies team for like a couple of $100 USD. So it wasn't a huge investment.
Right.
And then the value just skyrocketed. And these people were actually able to like buy. One guy bought a little house after living in a hut. One guy bought a motorcycle. So it's like actively changed a lot of these poorer people's lives. But I watched a doco on it the other day, and it was actually I just found it really fascinating. And whether it's even ethical, because again, it's this whole thing of like, what is the blockchain? What is
seems
the
exploitive. Yeah.
Exactly, and I think it is actually predatory since I've done more research. But essentially, you basically buy in, you get your NFTs. They are NFTs, these Axies things. You then fight, and then you win the Smooth Love Potion, which can be converted into real cash through the blockchain and
Right,
all that
okay.
kind of stuff. So currently on this Axies Infinity game, it's 2.8 million people who own Axies. So there's a lot of people who have bought in. 6 million people downloaded digital wallets because of the game. 25% of the people playing it don't even have bank accounts. So they're just relying on this cryptocurrency.
Oh my god.
50% are new to crypto, 75% are new to NFTs. And one guy in this doco that I watched, he didn't even understand or know what crypto or NFTs were, but he was literally relying on this for his income.
Wow.
Insane. So people have been playing since COVID this for 3 to 4 hours a day. There's video and B-roll of these people like playing it while they're doing their actual job. Basically, it's kind of like they're likening it to almost like a crypto colonialism where they're targeting countries like the Philippines and
Oh.
Venezuela.
People that didn't have bank accounts.
Yeah,
Because they're not set up in that particular way.
Yes. So they're targeting these poorer people who are vulnerable and need money.
Yeah.
And essentially it's labor that they're doing. They're playing this game, but it's essentially labor, which is making the app really rich. And they do get a cut of it. But at the end of the day, it's the big guys at the top who are actually getting the money. And now to buy in, it's at least like $1,500 USD just to get a small competitive team of Axies characters. So it's quite expensive now to buy in. But it's actually had real life changes in some people, like I mentioned before. But there's experts that are coming in and saying, like, this is so unethical. It is so predatory.
Is there a way to lose money?
That's what I was going to say.
Well, a few years ago in 2022, it actually got hacked. The Ronin network, which is how they convert the cryptocurrency essentially into cash, got hacked by a North Korean group called Lazarus Group. They stole over $6 million of in-game currency, which was just everyone's money that plays.
Yeah.
And essentially, the people that own the Axies Infinity game, they did reimburse portions to people. But again, like, this is how vulnerable it is. They're literally dependent on this game, whether it's being hacked. If the servers go down, people cannot even eat, like, because they're relying on this income.
Are they playing it like 12 hours a day or something?
Some are.
Rather than, yeah.
Yeah, and like the value of it's actually kind of gone down, but people are still, they're like rats in a lab. They still think that one day it'll get better. One day it'll get better. So they're just like literally like little rats in a lab, just picking a button essentially.
Yeah.
Thinking of birds.
Yeah. Oh my God, I am. So I'm thinking of chickens.
Are you thinking of a pigeon?
I'm thinking of chickens. I did that at uni as well. But this economic expert came in and said he's been studying cryptocurrency economics, and he basically said it's mathematically impossible for everyone to win. So it is predatory.
Yeah.
It's just sucking these like poverty-ridden kind of communities, making them do this labor, which is essentially playing this game.
For something that won't actually pay off in the long run and is actually stopping them from earning money properly.
Exactly.
So interesting that they're targeting countries where people aren't set up with their own bank accounts and blah, blah, blah. So instead they're sitting out with a blockchain and blockchain wallet and all that sort of shit instead.
Yes.
Like, that's really, really interesting.
I know.
It's rather telling that the fact that we haven't heard of it, the fact that sort of the Western civilization haven't really heard of it, which means that there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Like if it...
Exactly. They're saying that there was this guild that was created off the back of it. So not people that own the game, but someone who was kind of smart made a guild which now has over 100,000 people in it. Jesus. The guild's worth a few $1 billion, and people can essentially rent Axie's characters off them. And they also have like little courses where you can learn the skills and all of the secrets to it, and then they take 30% of your earnings. So it's sort of like they're your agent in this like world, and it's just, if you think about it, it's all fake. Like none of it's actually real.
It's nothing tangible.
No, it's insane.
But yes, the things aren't, but they have value, right? There's a whole thing around an avatar and whether the value, like, so there's been cases of, for example, a dude has an avatar in a life simulator, marries a person that he's met through the life simulator, on the simulator, not in real life. They divorce, so she hacks into his and and sells off all his stuff. There was a case like this, I think, in Japan, and they deemed that actually an avatar has real world value.
Wow.
And then so she had to pay all this stuff back.
Wow.
So these things do have value because hundreds of thousands of people say they've got value.
Yes.
It's like the start of NFTs. They had value because people thought they had value.
Yeah.
Totally.
As soon as people think they don't, that's when it stops. So that's really interesting because do you remember a few years ago, and great podcast, Hamish and Andy from Australia, they did the horse racing online?
Oh, I don't know if I saw that.
So it's digital horse racing,
That's
all done
right.
by computers.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much like this Axes thing. You get issued a horse. It's got its own lineage to all these other digital horses. They don't exist, but they do races, and the AI calculates like the chances of it winning and blah, blah, blah. And throughout COVID, it skyrocketed and horses were selling for tens of thousands of dollars.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
I think
didn't know
I
that.
jumped in on it. I remember watching some races and you could like bet like $1 or something like that. And I was just like in the peak of lockdown when I wasn't working, like
Oh.
you could go Razzmatazz.
What's that from?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I
That's
lost
right.
everything.
Captain Holt. Shout out, great show.
love that show.
So it's a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
They do have value.
Mm-hmm.
That took off.
Yeah.
Another thing happened, and I've always wondered why hasn't someone created like a Fortnite type world where, or maybe like a Stardew Valley type world, where somehow you can get paid based on what your farmer's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Put ads in the game. So you're seeing ads and stuff. That funds whoever created it, cool, they get a chunk of it, but some of it goes into a pot. You can then earn some of that money by playing the game.
Oh, yeah.
So someone started a game like that. I believe it was up in Europe. I think it was like Holland or Belgium or one of the countries where one of their main sort of portions of their country's GDP or whatever it's called is farming.
Right.
And farms were starting to struggle a wee bit. So someone started a game where you play essentially Farmville or Stardew Valley. You buy cows and stuff, and a portion of that goes towards an actual farm, and you're supporting a farm.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow you get money based on what the farm does. And it was like this cool thing.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Turned out it was a massive Ponzi scheme.
Oh.
And that the money eventually ran out. It was just relying on new people coming in, putting money in to pay the old people.
Yes.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I was like, that's genius. And then the second half of the video was like, it was a massive Ponzi scheme. It failed. It would never work. And I was like, oh.
You got like credit card out, like, I was about to support a cow.
That's right, yeah. And you feel good. You're playing, you're earning a wee bit of money. Like if I earned $10 by playing Elden Ring for an hour. Like, it's not a huge amount of money, but I'll be so stoked.
Totally. I know. Well, they're saying that this is similar to that. Like, it's almost like a pyramid / Ponzi scheme where people, to earn money, they need to get more people in.
Yeah. To pay the people who are in first.
Exactly. So, yeah, I just thought it was a really interesting doco. If you actually want to watch it, it's only like a 12-minute doco on YouTube. It was by Vice, and it's called Axie Infinity, Life-Changing or
Wow,
Scam.
I will watch that.
It's actually really, really interesting. I
like
couldn't
Vice
believe
stuff.
it. Yeah, they're really good, eh?
You know what you should do as well is, do you guys have Netflix in New Zealand? There's a show called Bad Boy Billionaires.
Oh.
It's 4 episodes on Bad Boy Billionaires India. It's 4 episodes of these guys who became billionaires in India by doing different things. One was like he started the Kingfisher beer brand, you know, Kingfisher, and he was like this party guy, lost all his money, blah, 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 blah. One of them is the biggest pyramid scheme in history.
Oh my God.
Started in India, predatory like this to people who didn't have bank accounts and stuff. They put all their savings into it. And eventually people stopped joining because the benefits were great. You were like doubling your money every year.
Yeah.
And then they stopped getting paid out. It's very similar to what was probably going to happen with that.
Yeah, interesting. Oh, it's so sad that these people get targeted. And there's like venture capitalists who are actually pouring money into things like this because for some reason they do think there's potential somewhere. So there is fuel being added to this fire in the hopes of this, you know how people are saying they want to decentralize the whole internet and there's like Web 3.0 or whatever. I've never fully understood it. But people are still in the hopes that this decentralized system would work and therefore games like this would become legit. But I still just don't fully understand it or even feel like it's real. And I still, I don't know.
People want to jump on these things because they are scared that they've heard of it when it's low and then they go, but what happens if it does win?
Well, because Bitcoin did that.
I could have bought at this much. And because Bitcoin is the most successful story when it comes to that. Yeah. Like even our mutual friend Sam, he said to me years ago, "Guy, I'll tell you the thing about this thing called Bitcoin." I was like, "What is it?" He explained it, and at that time, Bitcoin was $300 a coin, and he wanted me to go in on it with him. And I was like, "I'm not spending $150 on a fake coin," and now they're worth like 60 grand.
Oh,
so people don't want to do that,
and they did the same thing. They went up and then came crashing down, and then went way back up again. So this has crashed down.
Yeah,
well, it is starting to.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and so people are like, "This is going to go back up again." Trust me, because the Bitcoin did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to.
I don't even know what a blockchain is.
I know, I'm still confused about it.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys should look into it. I think it's fine.
You know in The Simpsons when Homer's thinking and it's just a monkey banging symbols together?
Oh, yeah.
That's me when I think about like crypto and NFT.
Same. Even doing research to do this segment, I was like, do I fully understand this enough to actually talk about it?
Well, I think you did a good job.
Got the grasp of it a little bit.
As always, do your own research.
Yes, please do, and watch the docos.
Watch some docos. But I'm very keen to watch that. I'm going to go home and watch that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And if you're listening, like, let us know in the ECG for ECG Facebook group. Are there other things you've seen that are similar to this? Are there games you're playing that are doing this sort of thing?
Are there games where you can make money?
Yeah.
Not by playing multiplayer competitively, but by like just doing the game. Someone should invent that.
Also, what's a blockchain?
Please explain to us.
What the hell is it? Is it a physical chain, like chain wallet?
It's a physical chain with a brick hanging off the end of it.
I teased this last week, and I know you guys are very excited for me to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for you to
so
explain
excited.
it.
Absolutely fizzing at the bunghole.
Yeah, when he said we're going to save it for next week, I was gutted because I wanted to do it there and then.
Oh yeah.
The Nemesis System is a AI-driven system in video games that started with Warner Brothers games for Shadow of Mordor. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, a Lord of the Rings game, right? Have you played it, Ellie?
No.
Have you heard of it, Ellie?
No.
It also was in Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, right? So it was the sequel to Shadow of Mordor. Only 2 games have used this system. And the Nemesis system is basically AI driven in the sense that it would give you very personalized interactions with NPC players in the game. So obviously it's a Middle Earth game. You're coming up against orcs, right? So you would come across against these orcs, these NPCs throughout the game that had names like Blorg the Butcher, right?
We'll say Ellie the Enormous.
Ellie the Enormous.
Yeah,
not because you're enormous,
no,
just because you're a big orc.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
So Ellie the Enormous comes up to you in the game and she goes,
She goes, yo. Right. Then I go, bang.
She goes, you and me, let's go. So you're about to have a fight with Ellie the Enormous, right? So Chris, you fight Ellie, you absolutely smash her.
Am I an orc or am I?
You are the MP. You're the player,
the hero.
So you're
the
hero.
protagonist.
And
You're
I'm
the
the
protagonist.
NPC.
You're the NPC. So Ellie, blah blah blah. Chris beats you, right? You are then there's a hierarchy system within the orc army. So you've got like, just like any hierarchy, you've got like the lower grunts, you've got the captains and stuff like that. Ellie, you were a captain, right? But because Chris beat you, you've now been demoted. And it shows like a whole map of all the people that you're facing, right? You're gutted, Chris carries on with the game.
Yeah.
But then you come back in the game, Ellie, and you've got dynamic like dialogue where you say something like, "Oh, I remember you from last time. I'm not going to let you get the best of me again."
How would you say that?
I remember you from last time. You're not going to get me in.
Did that make sense?
No.
Well, there'll be subtitles, obviously.
Yeah,
so that'll be
subtitles, right?
Don't you act for like a living?
Obviously, she doesn't get paid. So Ellie remembers Chris, and also you remember how he beat you. So let's say, for example, Chris was using a lot of melee. He was using a sword.
You put that up my arsehole, didn't you?
I certainly did. I'll do it again if you come over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd love it.
So now Ellie is going to remember that you used to use a sword. So now you're going to start using your bow because it's a ranged attack because you don't want to get Chris to get near you.
So I've remembered the weapon, and now I'm using a weapon to try and combat that.
Because you remember how he beat you.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm not going to let that happen again.
Oh, yeah.
I've learned how to use the bow in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
It takes a
no, this is
lifetime
like
to
later.
master.
This is like later in the game. So
Okay.
then you beat Chris, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. So Chris dies, he gets to reset.
How
the
did I
checkpoint.
die?
Yeah, I put it up your bum hole. The
Sorry,
old bow straight up the old pinhole there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Right.
Guy, can I just confirm, did this sort of thing happen in the game?
The Nemesis system was based around bumhole butchery.
cool.
Yeah,
I
right.
should've
So
played
you are spot on here.
Thank you.
So
Say
now,
bumhole
Ellie,
butchery.
you've killed Chris.
Yeah.
You move up. You've gone past Captain because
Okay.
Chris also has beaten all of these other NPCs. So now he's got
I'm a
status.
certain level
He's
myself.
status.
Right.
All these other NPCs that didn't beat him, they're like, whoa, Ellie the Enormous beat him. So now you've gone past Captain
Yeah.
and you're like a chief.
The chieftain.
So what that also means is that you've got more health, you've got more orcs within your army that Chris has to defeat before he gets to you.
Yeah.
So now you've got a bit of the talk of the town. Right?
Yes.
So then for a third time, Chris comes. He's max level. It's towards the end, and then you say to him,
Oh, not you again. I did like it, but can you be a bit gentler next time?
Wait, didn't you do
Didn't you?
sorry,
You did it to
didn't
him.
you
Oh,
do
yeah.
it to
Did
me?
you?
Oh,
Ellie
yeah.
the Enormous?
That's right. I just remember our first interaction. It was so lovely. I forgot about the second one.
Oh, well, I don't mind if I do. Just confirming, is this set in
Why
Mordor or
"Why do
like
you
Cockney
sound, you guys
England?
sound like the people of Dirt League, like the muggers?
Let's go mug 'em!
Sorry, no. Okay, so yeah,
So
you
this
put a
is-
sword up my ass. I put a bow up yours. Now what?
Yeah. So you guys fight, and it doesn't
I've
matter.
got this really big club. It's huge. I'm a spit on it.
So that is essentially the Nemesis system. So
Okay.
it's not just Ellie the Enormous that you're facing.
Yeah.
But you're also facing all of these other
The guy getting you in.
the gargantuan.
Nice.
You've beaten me a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And the Nemesis system just remembers, and it creates
That's hard.
personalized, story-driven. But while at the same time, Chris, you still play the main campaign.
That's
So
right.
The people that you come up against are different because Chris beat you, and then you beat him, and then he beats you again. But somebody else playing the game, I come up against you, and you could beat me all 3 times.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So,
And so you be a grunt.
Ellie the Enormous,
yeah.
when I'm at the end of the game, is right at the top of the hierarchy. Whereas when Chris plays the game, you're in the middle.
Yeah. It's very clever technology, isn't
It's
it?
really awesome,
Yeah.
right? So everyone's like, the Nemesis system, what an absolute winner.
Yeah.
I can't wait because this is like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how the video game industry
Yeah.
benefits from this.
Mhm.
Warner Brothers, who made it, slapped a patent on it. No one's used it since.
Classic.
So think of all of the games that have come out in the last 10 years and how good they would be if even they used a shred of the Nemesis system. Because
Totally.
not only did they patent the Nemesis system, but they patented every other system that shows similarities to it as well.
Really?
So no other developer could come up with something that's slightly like it as well. So that's why there's been variations within the legal limit, but there is
Right.
no Nemesis system.
Well, if
except
they're,
for 2 games.
if they're going to patent something like that, they need to give us more games with it in it.
Well, that's
You
the
know what I
talk as
mean?
well. So it's Warner Brothers. There is talk that because it's not just Warner Brothers, it's Monolith or Monolith Games that develops
Mm-hmm.
the Shadow Mordor games. They are working on a Wonder Woman game. So that was
Ah.
announced like 3 years ago. We don't know when that game's coming out or if it's been confirmed whether the Nemesis system is within it. But it's a
Right.
Warner Brothers title. It's DC.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also what I think would absolutely slap
Mm.
is who else? What else does Warner Brothers famously have?
Harry Potter.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
How awesome would Hogwarts Legacy, the sequel, which
Yes.
has been announced, if it had the
Yes.
Nemesis system?
That would
Imagine
be
you're going around Hogwarts, right? And you've battled some sixth year from Slytherin.
Yeah.
And you beat him, but then you come up against him later on in the Forbidden Forest, and because you used a certain amount of skills, he knows how to beat you now.
So why is he in the forest?
Because he's got detention and he's got to go and
With Hagrid.
yeah, he's with
Right.
Hagrid and he's got to figure out what's killing unicorns.
Ah, yeah, okay, cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
I need
yes, of course.
context for that.
Yeah,
sort
you
of
wanna
stuff.
know
You're not
why.
just in the Forbidden Forest.
Yeah.
Right, you
it's
gotta know why.
forbidden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
come up against an ogre.
All right, the ogre's like, oh, g'day there. Oh, my asshole's too sore.
Yeah.
So I just quickly looked at Warner Brothers games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is their most recent successful like open world title that would easily fit into.
Yeah, totally.
The other ones they've had is the Batman series.
Yeah, the Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum,
that'd be
Arkham
awesome.
Knight, all that stuff. So a way to like have all the iconic baddies somehow jumping around and like switching in
amazing.
power. So the end of the game for you might be that the Joker's the head honcho. The end of the game for me might be the Penguin or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's cool
Yeah.
because then you can discuss your different like storylines and
Exactly.
how. Yeah,
and that's
fun.
what they're thinking that could happen with Wonder Woman as well, because it's the DC universe. So it's not just like, so DC you've got Superman and the Flash and Aquaman and stuff like that, the big dogs. But there's so many comic book characters
And so many villains as
within
well.
within the game
Yeah.
that could be utilized in Wonder Woman. That you just like, you could be going through whatever part of the city or wherever you are in the game, and you come across a DC character, you beat
Yeah.
them, but then you find them, you come up against them later. That would be really cool.
That would be cool, and it would make it more replayable too, because each
Yeah.
time your whole journey would be completely different, wouldn't
Absolutely.
That's right.
it? Yeah.
Can I? So the reason this was so cool in Shadow of War / Shadow of Mordor is because, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been years, and I only played it for a wee bit, but it was sort of like an Assassin's Creed game, the way it was laid out. There were like bases to clear. It was a big
Totally.
open map, blah, 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 blah. Ghost of Tsushima,
Oh,
if that had like samurais and like, I know when you duel them, they die,
yeah.
but if you somehow had duels where they like survived and were like, I'll come back, that would be sick.
That's when one of the videos I was watching about it, they were saying like what games would benefit from this. That's what I talk about today is Ghost of Tsushima. So
Oh,
you,
wow, okay.
You know,
Oh.
they'll be like, for that exact ring, you come up against a guy, you kill the captain, you're the ghost, everybody knows about you at this point, you've been liberating the island, 3 guys run off because they're terrified.
They
but
come
then
back.
they come back
Yeah.
with double the amount of people they had last time, and they saw that you used, your kunai quite a lot, and whatever.
What's a
So-
kunai?
It's the little throwing
throwing
the little
star thing.
throwing
Nice.
knives.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So I was thinking about what other games would benefit. So for me, obviously, you've got Ghost of Tsushima, which would be fantastic. Even Red Dead Redemption 2 would be an amazing one.
Yeah.
With outlaws and shit.
With Outlaws, also you come up against other gangs in Red Dead 2.
The Van
So
Buren boys?
the
Wait, no, that's-
the O'Driscolls.
What's the Van Buren boys from?
I don't
think
know.
That's from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I think.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a very different thing.
That's completely made
You know,
up.
like you raid in that game, you raid other people's camps, but how awesome would it be if the O'Driscolls raided your camp? For
Yeah,
once?
see, it's
so
cool.
Red Dead would be an absolute sitter. But a game that I think would really be cool with the Nemesis system is a Need for Speed Underground or Most Wanted. So it's an open world map, and it's a huge city, and you've got your car and you slowly build it up and stuff, and you come up against other racers, and you beat a racer one day,
Yeah.
and then he remembers how you race, so then he goes off and he spends more money on his car, and then you beat him again. So
Yes.
it's not a combat game, but it is a game where you go up against enemies and they learn from you as
Yeah,
well.
right.
Maybe even the police know how you operate. You've got a certain style of driving. You use alleyways and stuff like that. So when the police are trying to get to you,
Alleyways.
Classic.
alleyways.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
So
right, okay.
if I was to create a Nemesis game,
That's
apart
fun,
from your Red Deads and your Ghosts,
Yeah.
I'd create like a racing game.
Well, there you go.
Fun. I feel like this sounds like it's going to make all the games harder. So I don't know if I personally would want a Nemesis game.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't think I'd win it. I feel like I already struggle enough.
What about Stardew Valley, right? You submit all your vegetables for like the big competition they have every now and then.
Oh yeah, that would actually be cool if each
yeah.
year they remember
And
how
then
you
someone
did
was like,
last year.
I remember your kumquats were out the gate.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, and your legumes.
That'd be cool.
And then it's like, so I've come with my own kumquats and they're insane.
Yeah.
You know, like, so the Nemesis system in Stardew Valley.
That actually could work. I hadn't really thought about the fact that I could use it for non-combat too.
It doesn't have
It's
to be
also-
killing.
It also doesn't have to be against enemies as well.
Yeah,
like if you have
right.
NPCs that are on your team, because I know in Shadow of
yeah.
War, the second game, you had orcs in your army as well. So if you let your captain go off and have a fight instead of you, and he won, then he was better.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that.
Oh, wow. But I
Ah.
guess the higher rank you are, the better percentage you have of winning a fight.
Totally.
But if you lose, it is a very cool system.
It
It's
is.
a wicked system, but Warner Brothers are just sitting on it.
That's
and
so annoying.
they just nailed that patent because obviously if you could make a version of it, then another studio would have by now.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
they're just sitting on a gold mine.
Damn, I reckon
Like
it would actually.
Smaug.
Yeah.
What's
sorry?
that? What's that from?
Sorry, Smaug.
Yeah.
That's from Star Wars.
Correct.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Is it actually?
Yeah, 100%.
You're like,
Yeah, Smaug.
I feel like you're lying
Why?
because you always lie
It's
to
from
me.
Star. Everyone knows that Smaug is from Star Wars, and if you think any otherwise, then you're an idiot.
You're lying, eh?
Why would we
Why
lie?
would we lie to you?
Your faces.
Why would we lie to you?
Who do you think is when we say Smaug is from Star Wars? Who's the character?
What does Smaug look like?
Nah, look, am I thinking of Smeagol?
Oh, it's Smeagol, who's from Star Wars. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
probably where you're getting confused.
Shut up. Are you talking about the Hobbit?
Well, what?
Wait, Smeagol's in Star Wars.
Shut up.
Yeah, he's in the cantina.
Smaug is a dragon in the Hobbit that
Damn it!
sits on a big pile of
I
gold.
should have said Hobbit.
Voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, okay, Mr. Nerd over there. I know all the movies.
Don't
Sorry.
you nerd shame
Sorry,
him on our gaming
I'm
podcast.
sorry, that was a reaction because I felt very ganged up. Sorry.
Yeah. Did you have any games that you would like to see Nemesis?
Well, to be
styled?
honest, the only one is those specific types of games like Assassin's Creed and Ghost of Tsushima where you have to go and clear out areas and
Yeah.
they're kind of the samey.
Yeah.
Different layouts and stuff, but they're always the same. There's always like a chief who's the hardest to take out, and then you pick off everyone else. That's where that system can really mix that shit up.
Yeah.
So all of those games are great. I like Elden Ring, which I've just started playing. By the way, spoiler alert for what are you guys playing this week? I've just started playing Elden Ring again. I'm like an hour in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even. It wouldn't work in that.
Yeah, a lot of the comments saying if there was Nemesis System in Elden Ring, you would just die
Yes.
so much.
Yeah.
It would just make it so much harder.
Impossible.
Which is bullshit. So no, I think those kinds of games. I like the idea for Need for Speed as well, and I like Ellie's Stardew Valley idea, which was actually
That
mine.
was your idea.
But you liked it.
I liked it, so I'll claim it. If I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it, it's mine.
Nice,
yeah.
good idea, Ellie.
Yeah, nice. Thank you
So-
so much.
But any suggestions from you guys, the listeners?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let us know. I feel like, you know what, I know I always come back to Detroit Become Human, but I actually think that would be a great game to have that as well because you can like talk to androids who are just NPCs and sometimes people are mean to them or you can be nice to them. And I feel like it would benefit you if the androids remembered whether you were nice or not because then they could either be on your side or not. I feel like it could work
That sort of
in
stuff
that game.
happens in like The Witcher and games like that,
Ah.
where
Do you
if
know
you're nice to someone, they'll
Do you know what's cool?
nice.
Is that probably in the next 10 years, the two things that we've talked about in the podcast today, games where you make money and this Nemesis system, there will be games where it's like real. Like it's like real life in the
Yes.
sense that you make money and it's like a Nemesis style driven. Like we're going to be talking about this in the next 10
You're
years.
right. This episode will be really dated by then.
Yeah.
I reckon.
What we're
Yeah.
what we're talking about will just be the reality of gaming.
Yeah.
Although
fascinating.
And Ellie still won't play it because
yeah.
she'll be trying to clock like Astrobot or something.
Yeah,
still
nah.
be trying to finish. What's the Spiritfarer one? Have you finished that yet?
Nah, I haven't.
That's going
haven't
to be
touched
such
it.
a good review.
Yeah, can't wait to do that before the end of the year. Yep, I'm brewing her. Deep inside my brain.
What? Don't say I'm brewing here. It makes it sound like you're going to go take a shit.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us for another week on the ECG Potty. What are you guys playing this week? Oh wait, Chris already spoiled it for us.
I'm playing Elden Ring.
Oh,
So you're playing Elden Ring because you want to play Erdtree.
Yes, and also with these games, the reason they're so genius is because they're so replayable. There is
Yeah.
probably 200 different weapon setups, and it's just
Cool.
ridiculous what they've done. But finished Bloodborne, which came out in 2015, recommended by one of my mates who I work with, who was like, "You have to play it. It's my favorite game of all time." Played it. One of the coolest stories, hard to figure out. Once you figure it out, one of the coolest stories I've ever seen in a game.
Nice.
Like a game might be like, oh, you're a Assassin's Creed, for example. You're an assassin who has to kill these bad men. They're all Templars.
And there's a creed involved.
And there's a creed, and it goes back to that. Like, that's the extent of the story. The extent of this story is so huge and hard to wrap your head around that afterwards you're just like, oh my God, that's so mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. If you loved Elden Ring, play Bloodborne. It's so good. It holds up to this
Okay.
day.
Nice. Guy, what are you playing?
I finished Dredge and I finished the 2 DLCs.
Oh, nice.
Very, very cool. The DLC I played first was the Iron Rig, which is, a oil rig that just appears on the map.
Mhm.
And that's got a cool little storyline to it. So Dredge, the main story is like 10 to 12 hours, and then Iron Rig's maybe 3 hours. That was really cool. And then I also got I always forget what it's called. The Antarctic one, like the one that's in the snow.
Antarctic
Pale Reach.
Oh, okay.
I
Pale Reach,
was going to
right?
say Antarctic awesomeness.
No, so
Oh,
Pale
beautiful.
Reach, I was like, cool, I finished Iron Rig, so I was expecting like 3 to 4 more hours of this DLC.
Yeah.
I finished that one in less than an hour. The
Oh.
Pale Reach is a mission. It's not a
Right,
DLC. It
right.
was, I was kind of gutted. I was like, so there are, like I haven't platinumed it because you got to buy, you got to find every single fish, whatever. But
Right.
Dredge is a really, really cool game.
Well, that's
If
what
I-
you got to remember with Dredge too. Is it's an indie game.
It's an indie game.
It's a
It's
New
less-
Zealand small studio.
Pretty sure it's less than a gig. Like it's
Yeah.
such a small game.
Wow.
So it
For
is
them-
wicked.
But like comparing a DLC for an indie game to like something like Shadow of the Erd Tree,
Yeah.
which is made by a huge studio with millions of dollars, so it's just an add-on or an extra as
Yeah.
opposed to like a big bonus.
For a
Yeah.
game that there's no audio, there's no there's no audio, there's no dialogue when you come
Yeah.
up with people and stuff. It's a very stripped down game. They've managed to do a lot with what they've
That's
got.
incredible.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
That's
so
awesome.
if you have a chance, you can get it on PlayStation, you get it on Switch. I would probably get it on Switch. I played it on
Okay.
PlayStation. Switch obviously means you can, because it's an offline game, you
Yeah.
can play it. It's definitely something that will be good for handheld.
You don't need
Right.
it 60 inches
You-
4K.
No, you don't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but it is relaxing in the fishing aspect, and you get to upgrade your ship. But it is also quite scary because at nighttime is when everything gets a bit messed up, and the endings are really cool as well because there's like 2 endings.
Yeah.
So
Fun.
I would recommend Dredge. Then what I'm also playing, I use the Amazon Fire Stick is like my streaming.
Oh,
At
yeah.
home.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a thing with the Amazon Fire Stick where if you get a Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and a controller, you can stream like cloud-based gaming. So you can just play anything that's on the Xbox Game Pass without having to get an Xbox console.
Oh, Buzzy.
Yeah. So I was stoked. So I went out and got the Game Pass and I got a controller. So I spent like $200
Oh.
and I started playing Halo on my, because I've already got the Fire Stick.
Oh, right.
And because you obviously need decent internet.
Yeah.
And yours is pretty decent, but not the best sometimes.
Not the best.
Was it fine?
No.
So
Oh.
you need like
I'm
perfect
gutted.
fiber.
I'm gutted. I started playing Halo Reach and because how long have I been talking about wanting to play all the Halo games?
Yeah.
Since before
And they
this
were
podcast.
yeah. So they were all there in front of me. I was so
Yeah.
excited. On Friday, I was playing Halo Reach, and a new Linkin Park album came out. It was like
Oh
I was
my
back.
God.
I was like I was 16 again.
Oh my
I was
God.
losing my mind. By the way, that album is amazing. But yeah, there's just too much latency. It's like trying to play the campaign. It's like you move the analog stick and then it moves. It's just.
Oh, damn.
It's just not quite right. I need to play around with it more. Maybe it's the Halo thing. I'd maybe play a different game. Might play Black Ops 6 because that's on the Game Pass.
Have you guys got fiber at your place?
Yeah.
Because
It's Wi-Fi. I haven't got it hardwired into the back of the TV because
Right.
where our modem is.
Yeah.
I'd have to like run a 12 meter
oh,
cable
bro,
into
get
the
a
house.
get a signal booster. Chuck it next to your TV.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I found out I had fiber, and then it turns out I have the lowest level fiber. So during lockdown, when we was like on video meetings a lot,
Yeah.
kept dropping out, and so I was like, stuff this, and I just upgraded to the highest level of fiber.
We've
Nice.
got good fiber, but maybe I just need some more all brand.
You need to eat more fiber.
Ah,
maybe a few
yeah.
brand muffins. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
anyway, I will be playing around with Xbox Game Pass.
Nice. Okay, cool. And I'm excited because tonight, us three are getting to try something, aren't we?
Oh,
Something pretty cool,
yes.
thanks to PlayStation.
Acid.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really excited. It's going to be my first trip.
Imagine if PlayStation just gave us drugs.
Yeah, we need to just retract that. They definitely have not given us acid. But we are going to get to try a cool little thing in the Sky Tower, which is the big Sky Tower in Auckland.
It's the tallest building in New Zealand. It's
Yeah.
huge, and they're lighting. And by the time this podcast comes out, it's happening tonight.
Yes.
So we're recording this on Wednesday. It's happening Thursday night. I believe they're lighting it up like one of those things where you hit a hammer at a carnival and the lights go up the Sky Tower.
Yeah.
So we will be the first people in New Zealand to try this thing. It's literally just us. They're
Yes.
also shouting us to go out for dinner tonight as a group. So
Very cool.
we're bringing our partners and
Having a bit
along.
of a Christmas party.
We're having a bit of a Christmas party thanks to PlayStation. So
Thanks,
it's very exciting,
PlayStation.
and we'll chuck some stuff up on our stories and on ECG as well.
And if you are, this is just applying to those people that live in Auckland, New Zealand. So this comes out on Thursday. Tomorrow night, Friday night, is the public's chance for you to actually go down to the Sky Tower and hit the thing with the hammer. And there are prizes up for grabs. And I believe the top prize is a PlayStation 5 Pro.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm going along.
Yeah. So if you are also in Auckland and you listen to this and you're wondering why the Sky Tower is lighting up and down, it's because people are hitting a hammer.
There
How
you go.
good.
There you
we'll
go.
chuck some stuff on our socials if you want to see what it looks like as well.
Yeah, thanks for listening for another week. Feel free to contribute in our ECG for ECG Facebook group as per. Otherwise, we'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.